everyone, welcome to the fourth installment of our series on Green with Evil from Power Rangers. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Inspector Spacetime. I'm Eric.
All right, Eric, are you ready to find out what happens in this oh-so-exciting saga?
Hopefully more than episodes 2 and 3.
Yeah, well, now we got... Is this the one where Scorpina grows? I guess we'll find out.
I think she teams up with the Dragonzord.
Yeah, it's been a while. Well, let's find out. I bet this one has a lot more fighting than the last one.
You know, it's been a while since I've watched these. I don't remember if they fight anything at the end. I feel like they just kind of decide to be friends at the end. I don't think there's a big bad for this 5-episode arc. I feel like that should have been Scorpina, right?
Yeah, maybe she should have been there from the beginning. Maybe it should have been her idea. She'd be like, hey, Rita, you remember that power coin you just have lying around?
Hey, Rita, remember how I was holding this power coin when you sent me into the rock? Well, I still have it.
That actually might have been a way to get her to have it in the first place. Would be like Scorpina, instead of just having Scorpina pop up from literally behind a rock.
You know what's another way to get her to have it?
Just be like, hey, Scorpina has this power coin that she stole from Zordon a bazillion years ago, and she goes and teams up with Rita, and then they make an evil Green Ranger.
Rita didn't know she had it until she resurrects her. But you know,
that would make way more sense than what they did.
All right, all right. Here's another way that they can address Rita having it. What if she just has it at the beginning and we ask no questions?
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, you ready to get started?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. Everybody, rig up your episode and press play right now.
$10,000 years, I'm free.
You know, I never really given this intro a whole lot of thought or scrutiny, Eric. But is it actually putties that bring Rita out of her dumpster?
No, it's spacemen.
Oh, okay.
Or I guess astronauts, if you're living in current times.
Well, that's right. I haven't watched Day of the Dumpster in a long time.
Well, in the Japanese version, I believe they're explorers on another planet.
Because in the intro, it looked like putties.
Because I don't think it's the moon in the Japanese version. It's another planet, I believe. I don't know. I've never seen the Japanese version. This is all peripheral facts I've learned. Man,
Eric, are you eating chips again?
Oh, I didn't stop eating chips.
Oh, okay.
I'm pulling a Dantori.
Oh, man. 5 seconds in, it's morphin' time.
Oh, no, it didn't work.
Wow. That's unusual. It was kind of cool to see everybody pull out their morphers all at once like that.
Yeah, you know, that was something that I always thought was weird, was they always sold the morphers, and I feel like you almost never actually see them except for when they're in the, lightning hand mode. Like, I feel like in the show you almost never see them actually have them. Like, it was weird when Goldar had Jason's, because I feel like you never really see them. It's not like later where, they're a physical, tangible object. Like, what are the morphers?
That is a great line. If we can't morph, Goldar is going to trash the world.
Or just Angel Grove. We don't have the budget for the world, nor the footage.
Well, that's another thing that's always funny about the show is, why do the bad guys always just go after the town where the Power Rangers live in? Wouldn't it be a lot more inconvenient for them if they just attacked something else?
They could teleport wherever the monsters show up, so they might as well just attack them in their own backyard.
Oh, okay. All right. But maybe they wouldn't notice until it was too late.
The classic small town America with, the juice bar that everyone in school goes to, but also has skyscrapers.
So now Tommy is shadow boxing with his extremely powerful sword thing.
Which shoots lightning. He likes to laugh. At nothing. It's not even like the maniacal laugh like I said something sinister. He just laughs. You're not stuck there. You can leave.
Yeah, you could leave. I mean, apparently that's space behind you. There's this random technobabble that shock things, and then stuff explodes.
Nope, didn't work. I was wrong, guys.
The knee bone's connected to. Oh.
Okay, it looked like he did like one thing, but they cut it like it took him like 2 hours.
You know,
Not helping.
this whole job would probably go a lot faster if you guys were standing behind me yelling things.
You know what would really help is if you kind of like nudged me to the side and told me I could do it.
I really appreciate positive reinforcement, but this is ridiculous.
Do they always huddle together? Do they ever like stand apart from each other? Wait,
Yeah, see you're right. That was a situation where they just put their hands behind their backs.
that's what they always do. I feel like this is the
Yeah.
only time you see morphers usually.
Yep, you're right. Wow, this makes Angel Grove look like an enormously cool, huge city.
That's what I said. Is that it's a small town with a local juice bar where all the kids go and skyscrapers.
And skyscrapers. Scorpina's outfit is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, this is the episode I watched twice. So I sat through that whole morpher thing twice because
Well,
I
it
thought
looks
it was
like
the
you got to
recap
see
of
the
the
more.
last episode.
Yeah, but at least you watched the most exciting of them twice. So far, it looks like probably that's the case.
Yeah.
Oh man, here comes Giant Goldar. He
Hey,
really
that
does
was
get
that
quite
was
a bit to
interesting.
do in this.
I don't remember very many shots where the monster's foot is there and they're there too.
Yeah, that's cool. Especially because if you were like me when I was a kid, I was always wondering why the monsters would stand around huge just waiting for the Power Rangers to call their Zords. Like, it seems like that's the point where they would be most vulnerable.
Or the obvious reverse of why don't they just lead with the Zords? It's like,
Leave with the Zords.
yeah, just show up with the Zords when the monster's small.
Yeah, you're right. Go the other way. I mean, we better get on this Greyhound.
That is commitment.
Wow. Skull just stole a bus.
You are slightly ahead of me.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine. I just gotta try to jump ahead and not screw everything up.
Oh, that's all right. Don't worry about it.
Because when I said that's commitment, I was talking about the
Yeah, I didn't know what you were talking
the
about.
yogurt ice
That's
cream
all
he was
right.
eating during the earthquake.
Zora, Alpha, look out behind. He's right there. You stupid, incompetent robot. You gotta wonder if Alpha is as incompetent as he is in the show. What the four before him were like. All it did was stand there and press the same button over and over again.
Well, I believe Alpha 6 is the hip hopping rapping one, correct?
It's the one with the really obnoxious, high pitched whine. I don't remember it hip hopping, but maybe it did.
I remembered it hip hop rapping.
And it was there for 2 seasons. I couldn't believe how long we had to listen to that obnoxious voice.
I know. And then in Lost Galaxy, they get someone who's not Alpha 5, but has a similar voice.
Oh, good. Oh, man. Goldar's picking up Bulk and Skull on a bus.
I remember this scene pretty vividly, too.
Well, it's something you never see. I mean, like... And you know, I gotta give it this. The scale of this is huge compared to what the show's usually
Oh,
like.
absolutely. This is movie scale for them.
This is big. This is
in
big
fact,
stuff.
they did this in the movie.
That's true. That's a good point. You know, when we finally do that commentary again, we're gonna be like, look at all this stuff they just pulled right out of Green with Evil. That when Skull says, "Why don't buses have seatbelts?" That's actually pretty funny.
Somehow, I just magically completely lined up with you.
Every now and again, Bulk or Skull will get a line that is genuinely funny.
You know what'd be really funny? If every time they got a good line, They delivered it badly.
You know, Zordon, it might be worth reasoning with the Green Ranger if it weren't for the fact that he's totally mind controlled. Like, you know, it's not like an interesting thing where just, a sort of bad dude with a sordid past teamed up with a supervillain. No, he was okay, and then she made him like this.
You know, I don't actually remember how they break his brainwashing. I'm gonna bet it's through a good stern talking to.
It kind of is.
So Zordon's not wasting his time. You're just being mean to Zordon because you met him and you
No,
follow him
no.
and you're good friends.
Yeah, I'm good friends with Zordon. No, if I remember right, I mean, I guess we'll get there pretty soon. But if I remember right, it's not actually through a stern talking to. It's just that a stern talking to happens simultaneous with the breaking of the brainwashing.
Okay.
But I could be wrong about that. Power Rangers in the sand. That's also unusual. Just want to throw that out there. That's kind of funny.
I don't know if the second part makes sense. Is dust history? Or is that
Well, it's an over. I think you're overanalyzing this at this point.
okay? They are great. I wish they got more to do. I know they do later, but
Did you like the whole silly junior cop thing they did with them?
oh, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the show at that point, but
It doesn't at all. With Lieutenant Stone and his obsession with plants.
and then when he leaves, then when they get him fired and he starts a detective agency, and he thanks them
Ooh,
for it.
I forgot about that. Wow, Goldar is still going after the Rangers being huge and totally missing. Just doesn't seem like it should be that hard to get them.
So Tommy's on the level of Ozymandias. I already have
Yeah, I'm not a comic book villain. I'm not gonna tell you
that
my
field.
before I do it.
He is acting as hard as he can to not make that look silly.
Yeah, it's funny when that's like a great compliment you can give someone on a show. Man, the person is really trying not to make this look as ridiculous as it is. Well done. How often in a show like this does somebody say this is impossible when it clearly was quite possible?
Probably once an episode.
Yeah, it's impossible. No, by impossible you mean you didn't want it to happen, and it caught you by off guard.
I think they keep confusing impossible with inconvenient.
Man, these villains are just suddenly slightly smarter than they ever were before. They're like reacting to the Zords before the Rangers are actually in them.
I'm glad they all have like a quippy catchphrase to say when they jump in their cockpit. That's all.
Yeah, a lot of the time they're really generic. It's like Trini, why is yours "we're ready to rock"? Like, why don't we give you, I don't know, like a hobby or a thing you're into, sort of like Zach has, so that at
What
least you
is
see
her thing?
two-dimensional as opposed to
Because
one-dimensional.
Kim,
I don't know that she ever really had one. You know, it might be like Sulu in the original series, where like there was one episode where she had one thing, but then no one ever brings it up ever again.
yeah, but if they ever remake it, they're totally gonna overemphasize that one thing.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
That is not a toy bus.
No, that is. Now that the Megazord's holding it, it's a toy bus. Why doesn't anyone ever cosplay as a Megazord?
Probably because it's a lot of work.
Well, I've seen people cosplay as Transformers
Um,
that
that's
can
first.
actually transform, which is awesome.
I've seen the Bumblebee like that, and the Boximus Prime. she's got like a strategy and stuff.
Yeah. So at the risk of sounding kind of ridiculous, I don't know if I will when I say this. Would you agree with me whenever I say that Megazord fights, where it's actually a dude in a suit, look a lot better than Megazord fights now when they're CGI?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's a little cheesy, but I think it looks better.
No, 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 it does. It tends to happen with Godzilla movies too. Um, when they do like a scene in CGI, it always looks worse than. It's just because Japan doesn't put the budget in the things that we do. So, you know, in this case, I think the cheap way always looks better. So, is this the first time that we've ever heard that the Zord's solar powered?
I think so. And they'll probably never bring that up ever again either. Like, that's just a thing now because we want to do a whole eclipse bit. So I guess Scorpina has this thing where she can't just grow; she has to be a monster.
Yep. Well, I mean, that makes her and Goldar getting together at the end a little bit more comfortable, right?
I guess, I guess so. Oh man, the Megazord's on the ground. You know, the more I'm watching this, I mean, as little actual story as is in this and as drawn out as it is, I can still kind of see why this is a big deal for people.
Oh, absolutely.
I
Although,
mean, for kids.
I gotta say, I feel like you have to work to have this little happen across 5 episodes. Like, I feel like I would struggle writing a 20-minute script for like episode 3.
I'm
So,
with you.
so
I
what
mean, it's really
happens in this
stretched.
episode? Nothing. Okay, so I got to make that stretch for 20 pages. Great.
I like how when the Megazord sword comes down, it comes down pointy end down, and then when he catches it, it suddenly flipped the right direction.
Uh, yeah, because we see it coming from China, and by the time it reaches him,
See, this is a tactic for stretching this out. We just have Tommy here spouting random nonsense.
is a giant ranger that's a first, right?
Giant Ranger?
Yeah. I think I'm ahead
Yeah,
of you now. I think our tracking is all messed up.
yeah, it is kind of messed up.
Because I was behind you, in sync with you, and now I'm ahead of you.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I forgot about the whole giant Green Ranger thing.
I'm gonna finish this episode like 20 seconds before you.
That's all right.
It's not as bad as our Power Rangers the movie commentary where you didn't watch half of it.
I just didn't watch half the movie. Yeah, because it got pausing
See how
on
much
me.
nicer Tommy's vest looks?
So this really must have been a thing where, I mean, I'm just making an assumption here, but I bet this was a thing where in the Sentai show it made more sense to have a giant Green Ranger.
No idea. But I will say, I
But
think it's a
no
terrible
idea.
choice because when you have a giant person there, it makes the Zords look like people in suits.
Yeah, that's true. And also, you kind of wonder why it never occurs to Zordon to try to figure out how to make that happen.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, why don't we just make our people giant? Then we wouldn't have to rely on these huge machines that take all this
Well,
upkeep.
it seems like only one person has to pilot the Megazord. Put Alpha inside the Zord, send 5 giant Rangers.
Well, that's true because it's just kind of overkill to have, it's redundant to have that many Rangers inside of it.
You know that eclipse may be as scientifically inaccurate as the one in Euros for different reasons. But
That's funny.
so this Megazord thing is pretty serious. That's something. I know we're gonna pretend
Yeah.
it didn't happen next episode probably, but I
You notice how every time the Megazord gets beat, the Power Rangers fall out of it. And I guess one of their powers is to not get hurt when they fall from a really high place.
that was a speech. I know I'm ahead of you, but that's a stirring speech. When you get to it, you'll know.
Ah!
I think it's weird. The first 3 episodes we were matched up for some reason. Either my Netflix is going fast than yours, or yours is going.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened there. It's really funny that speech at the end there. It's like
they were a part of us.
it's like somebody scripted the speech, but then split it up amongst 5 different people.
Almost as if trying to give each of them an equal say in the matter. The computer finally has an answer. Too bad Alpha never has an answer.
We've been waiting for it. It's like the back computer in the 60s, where you just have to stand around for it until it spits out a little piece of paper.
What gobbles up? Wow.
A sparrow with a machine gun, the only possible answer.
They're all really surprised. Kimberly, look, I know your eyes are already watching, but Kimberly, look. That's an awful cliffhanger ending. Hey, you know how you at home I have already known all this? Well, guess what? They know now.
Yeah. Yeah, how were they that surprised?
Especially since Zach was like, didn't Zach and Jason put it together in episode 2?
Well, no, they didn't put that together. But, I mean, they should have, because, he's wearing green, and he's suddenly...
I give them that one. Man, the episode after the next episode, Squat and Bobo create their own monster, Shell Shock, just to impress Rita. Why aren't we watching that?
Yeah, well, they have to make sure... I mean, I think that it's kind of obligatory that you have to make an obviously not very cool episode right after the really big deal.
And then it's followed up by To Face Rita's... No, wait. My finger moved. To face Rita's newest monster, Zach must overcome his fear of spiders. There's a character trait. That's going to be built on and developed over seasons.
Yeah, but don't you feel like I said earlier, that Zach's the only person in the show that gets stuff? Because it's like everybody else, it's like, okay, they're good at martial arts, or they're girls, and
I feel like Zach's actually had 1 or 2 episodes that deal with self-confidence problems.
Yeah.
You might be right.
Yeah, it seems like he's the only one that seems to have anything reminiscent of
Zachiness is right next to Tommy.
Dimension. Well, even Tommy, it's like everybody likes him because he's the cool kid you're supposed to like. He doesn't have a lot of character traits.
And we all did. We were such
specific. Yeah, seriously. Well, anyway, everybody, thanks again for listening to Geeks on Earth, the podcast. Tomorrow, we will round it all off with part 5 of Room of Evil. Finally finish off the Green Ranger Saga. Until then, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.